I am Becky. I'll just give you a little bit of history. I've been a Toastmaster for 12 years now, 12 and a half years, and love everything about Toastmasters. Toastaholic, I belong to 7 clubs, and I'm very active and engaged in all of them. So over the years, obviously, we've all had our challenges with club growth, trying to grow our clubs, and we're faced with a unique situation right now because of COVID, where we're all putting a lot more stock into social media to try to grow our clubs. And Meetup is just another avenue that we can use to help grow our clubs. It's not something that's going to help us with retention, obviously, but it is something that we have the vehicle available to us free of cost, because the district pays for a Meetup site for every division. And so it's free of cost to all of us. And we can post our club events, our meetings, any special events that our clubs are holding. We can post area contests so we can get more visitors to our area contests, division contests, anything along those lines, any avenue where we want to get the word out about Toastmasters. We can publicize those events on the Meetup calendars, because you'd be surprised. It may not seem like it's a lot of people that we get from Meetup, but I know personally in the clubs that I belong to, with the exception of my one corporate club, every one of my other clubs has had members come to us because of Meetup. They saw our club being advertised on the Meetup calendar, and they've come and visit us because of that. So it works. And I want to take some time tonight to just kind of give you a real brief lesson on really how to get joined to a Meetup group, and then how to set up events on the calendars if you're not familiar with how to do that. I don't have a fancy PowerPoint or anything like that, mostly just a couple of slides. And this one here, it actually has the links for all 9 of the divisions. And then also District 84 has a Meetup page as well. So there are actually 10 different Meetup sites that the district pays for so that we can get the word out about our clubs and our special events. The people that we try to have as the event organizers, we like to have usually the division director, the area directors, because then they can post the division events and their area events. And then we like to fall to the club VPPRs, because they're responsible for promoting the club in the, out to the public. So what we have been working on since the beginning of the year is getting the word out to the VPPRs so that we can get them added as event organizers. I've worked my way through probably 75, 80% of the club officer list for all of the VPPRs, and searched to see who is a member, and done what I needed to do. But there are still a few, well, quite a few, that are not current members of the Meetup, their respective Meetup groups. And until they join the Meetups, I can't assign them the role. So that's one of the primary focuses that we want to do tonight. If you're a club member, just go back and ask your club, or if you're a VPPR, if you're not in your Meetup group, and make sure you are. And what I ask as the Meetup coordinator is that you join the Meetup group with the email that you have, or the email or name that you have on file with Toastmasters. Because if you join it with a nickname, I'm searching by the name that's on the roster that I get. The district gives me a roster to work with. So if you've joined Meetup by another name and it's not tied either by name or email to what's on that roster, I'm not going to be able to find you in that, in your respective Meetup group. So all you really have to do is join your group. And then once I see that you've joined the group, then I can go out and assign the role of event organizer, which then gives you the capability to add events to the calendar. So I'm going to show you what it would look like if you're not a member of a Meetup group. When you just go out to Meetup, you should see this page, and it'll say join this group. I'm not going to join this group. I logged out intentionally just so that you would be able to see, if there's any of you who are not currently Meetup members, you would see what you would see the first time. So you'll see this page with a join this group. Once you join the group, this is the page that
Becky,
you'll see.
we have a question. Do you have
Yes, what's the question?
Do you have to have a personal Meetup account to join a group? Okay.
You don't have to have a personal account. I don't have a personal Meetup account.
Okay, great. That was from Felicia. Thank you for that question and the answer.
Okay. So once you are a member, then it's going to, typically it defaults to the list. This is the Division B. So it's going to list all of the upcoming meetings that are within, you know, a certain amount of days and times. I don't know what that is, but you can always, you can just scroll down and you can see as many as possible. And then you have the option to add, you know, to look at more. But what you really want to get to as an event organizer is to the calendar, because you really want to look at the calendar to see what, you know, where your meetings are, what's listed, what's not listed. All right, here, this is what I really want you to see.
Awesome.
Because this is what your page, if you're logged in as an event organizer, this is what your page will look like. And so you get this button here, you get the opportunity to create an event. So to do that, you really want to go, if you click on this events tab, and then the calendar, voila, this is what I wanted you to see. This is what the calendar looks like. So the calendar will list all of the club meetings and so forth, the time and the name, and then you can actually click on it and it'll take you actually to the actual event. So you can see what the details are about the club. If, like, say, for instance, right now, a lot of our clubs have the little statement in there where they typically meet, but because of COVID right now, we're meeting online. So most of the clubs here in Division B, just because I do most of the setup for these, they all say the same thing. And it also, it'll tell you who the event organizer is. But so you can get all the information here. And then you can also look over here and it'll tell you usually what frequency they meet. If it's in this case, it's every Tuesday. Some clubs meet the first and the third Sunday, or the second and fourth Tuesday, or whatever the case may be. All that information is going to be here. But when you are an event organizer, you can go in here and I'll create a test thing just so that you can see what it looks like. As soon as I get back to, we're going to create an event. Let's just create a new event. Why is this like acting different for me today? Fine. We will just do this the old-fashioned way. We are going to go manage this group. I want to create an event. I want to create a new event. Oh, here, I know what I'm going to do. Let me go to the calendar first, pick a day. Maybe then it'll allow me to do something. Let's go to September 25th or December 25th. Create an event.
So first you need to pick a date.
Pick a date, yes, pick a date. So we're going to celebrate Christmas on, if I could only spell. And this is going to be on December 25th. And we are going to, 7 p.m. is fine. And we can leave it for 2 hours, just more or less, just trying to show you what you have to put in here. And then you're just going to go here, put your description in here, have some fun with family and friends. And then you can make it an online event. If you make it an online event, it's a little bit more challenging to have it to work with it if you want to make it a repeating event. My recommendation is to not make it an online event and just add the information for your Zoom link. That's what I've done with all of the ones that I've created. Just left them in their normal format and just add the Zoom link as extra information. So we're not going to make this an online event.
So you recommend adding the Zoom link on the calendar? So I know some people are saying that in the description.
If you put it in the description, it'll pop up on like when I first clicked on that first club and it said in the description, We typically meet here, but because of COVID, here's our Zoom link. That's what's going to show up. Anything that you put in the description is going to show up on the calendar when you click on that appropriate event.
Miss Rebecca, quick question.
Yes.
KP here, Toastmaster. Is it possible to hyperlink, like for instance, you know, you have the Zoom link, but it's possible to hyperlink the Zoom link with a piece of text, so so the Zoom link itself isn't visible. The reason why I ask is, you know, Zoom bombing, all of those things like that. I'm wondering if there's a way you can just have like join event online and then hyperlink that.
You could, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
If you don't want somebody to see it's just like anytime you put a hyperlink in there, you always have the option to rename a hyperlink. You could just put the words Zoom link or join here, and then embedded behind that is the actual information.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And also, I know that some people are very leery about putting their Zoom link or even a hyperlink. You could put, please contact club for Zoom link if you don't want to put your Zoom link in.
Exactly. Yeah.
You would need to have a club.
If you do that, yes. I was going to say you can do that as well, but you've got to make sure you have a club contact in there. And a lot of clubs forget to put that club contact in there. And so therefore it doesn't go anywhere. So you can do that as well. There's so many different options, any ways that you can get the events out here. The big thing is just to get the events on the calendar. So when people new to the area are looking for things to do and they hook up with Meetup, events are going to pop up on they're going to see these events. And then you have, you have that opportunity, especially if you have a good description. And another key is talk to your members, have them say, yes, I'm going. Once you have the events posted on the calendar, don't let it just show the co-host, because if you look at the Division B calendar, I go to 100 meetings every month just because I'm the one that created the events. And trust me, I don't go to 100 meetings every month. I don't have time to go to 100 meetings every month. I go to a lot, but not 100. But it's important that you have your club members as well go out and say, yes, I'm going. Because if some visitor happens to come across your Meetup link and it looks like you've got 15 people that say, yes, I'm going, that's going to be a much more engaging picture than something that just says one person going. It's just in the habit of getting the members to go out there and say, yes, it's a simple click. Yes, I'm going, and you're done. It's really simple.
Mm-hmm. If I may add on to that, especially if you have a special guest that you said, hey,
yes,
we're coming to our Toastmasters meeting, and like, oh wait, they're only coming to an audience of 1 or 2 people. It's a little bit demoralizing on their end, right, to experience that. So just get into that habit of having people RSVP. So
your event changes, make sure someone's proactive and updates the Meetup as well as the Toast site.
Agreed.
Because that can be disheartening as well.
So typically, are they updated weekly, monthly? What's the recommendation?
Well, it depends on how you set it up. Me personally, I went in for all of the clubs that I set up. I just did, and I was trying to get there. That's why I was kind of scrolling down. You can set them up to recur. I found it much easier to set them up as a recurring meeting and every repeat, especially for those clubs that meet every 2, like the first and the third, or the second and the fourth, rather than going in and setting a series of only on the first Monday of every month and then on the first or the third Monday of every month, because then if they get out of sync or something happens, then it just messes with everything. So I always just go in and set it up to repeat every 2 weeks. And then you just go into the calendar and you manipulate it. So when you have a 5-week month, you just go to that one, you edit just that particular one and tell it to edit everything after, and then it shifts them all. So it's not like you have to go shift every one of them. You just get to the point where it's out of sync. You fix that one and hit edit all. And I don't have an end date on them. I just have them ongoing until whenever. Because then you don't have to worry about them. So, but you can add your normal venue. There's some of here that are preloaded because some of our Division B clubs meet at these particular places. But if you just type in here and start searching, maybe you meet at Dunkin' Donuts. If you just start typing Dunkin' Donuts, it's going to find them. Then if you find the right one, you just click on it and it puts the information. It'll put the proper geotags or whatever they call those things. It'll put the proper information in there so that if somebody clicks on it, the Google map will be correct. And then you also have optional settings and this is where I was talking about, you make sure you turn repeat event on, and you can do if it repeats every week, which day of the week, you can set an end date, or you can just leave it as repeat until canceled. And that's how I have most of mine set up, is repeat until canceled, because we want our meetup, we want the word out there all the time. So yes. I don't think we have any of ours set up with an end date.
Okay, so they're asking in chat, how do you coordinate the first and third recurring meetings? So if you have it the first and third, this is where you would do it here, correct?
Yeah, and that's why I was saying, instead of trying to do one event for the first, because if something ever happens and that event gets canceled, then you're not sure which one it's in the calendar. Is it the first one or is it the third one? So I just set them up to repeat every 2 weeks. So let's do that with this one. Every 2 weeks. Yes?
I just have a quick question. When you're doing that for the meetup and you want to coordinate that with your Zoom account, do you do the same thing in the Zoom account where you're setting up the same meeting and you just go back and delete the ones that don't? Okay.
Yep. I do the same thing in Zoom, so I don't have to worry about to try to do 2 different Zoom, because then you have 2 different Zoom links.
Well, I was doing that
too,
and it was confusing. It was confusing for my VP of E, so.
Yes, it gets very confusing when you do that, especially in Zoom, because you would have to have 2 different Zoom links, and then the people are going to be, is this the Zoom link for the first or is it the Zoom link for the third?
Right.
So it's much easier to do that in Zoom as well. Just set it up to repeat every 2 weeks, and then you just go in and you just shift the calendar accordingly when you come to the 5-week months. You bet.
And Becky, there's another question. What if there is, for example, a special meeting, a theme meeting? Can you go in and edit this? If they're set up as recurring, you can go in and edit one.
You edit just this meeting, and then that's where you would maybe go into your description and add a little bit more wording into your description, that we're having a wear your crazy hats meeting, or we're doing a grab bag meeting. You could put that into your description and save just that event. You don't want to save all, you always get the option to save just this event or all following. So you'd only want to save that particular event.
Okay, great, thank you.
Absolutely, yep. And then basically once you get through here, you can put attendee limits, allow guests. I typically check allow guests, and then I'll put 5. We've never had anybody bring 5 guests, but just sounds good. Wishful thinking doesn't hurt, right? Think positive. And I don't set any limits or anything like that. And then I don't require an RSVP. I mean, if they show up, that's great. If they don't, and then once you get everything set in that the way you want it, then you would just you can preview it just to make sure it says what you want it to say, and then have some fun with family and friends, and we're good to go. And then we would publish it. And then once we publish it, I never announce it. I just let it, it's going to be on the calendar. And if you have your meetup reminders on, you're going to get it known anyway. Because if I did this every time, people would just get inundated with meetup messages. So I don't publish them. I just put them on the calendar and they're there. Okay, so let's close that, and then we'll go back to yep, there it is. Celebrate Christmas. Ooh, and it's on there twice. Ooh. So now it's on there. And then, like I said, when you click on it, the details would come up. And then if you ever want to cancel them, then we have to actually go back a page and cancel the event. You would do that as an event organizer. You would cancel the event. So let's, oops. Well, I have to actually be logged into Division B to do it. I'm not I'm logged into the district account right now. But if I was logged into the Division B, I could just delete it. I'll go back in and I'll delete that later. So that's basically how you create the events. And I did set it up to repeat every 2 weeks. So if we go to January, we should see it in 2 weeks. And we know we don't want to celebrate Christmas in in January. So I definitely have to go in here and cancel this off of the Division B calendar. But as a test, I just wanted to see how easy it really is to get your events onto the calendar. And then they're there in perpetuity or until you want them to end.
Awesome. Becky, we have another question from Felicia. Do you have any suggestions to trigger better search results when people are looking for events? Can you attach a flyer or something like that?
I don't, to be honest with you, that I don't know, because I've never tried attaching a flyer. Let us see if I can go.
Now I'm thinking about that question from kind of a social media perspective. Does Meetup respond to the hashtags? Like, people can put in a hashtag and find things associated with that hashtag? I don't, again, kind of thinking from like how Instagram and Facebook kind of run their research.
Those questions I had the workings of Meetup itself, aside from what we do with it, once we can get into it, the background of Meetup, I don't know. So I
More
don't
investigation
know
needed.
that, so. Yeah. Let's see if we can find one of these meetings and edit. I want to edit. Let's edit the Christmas one. Let's not edit one of my real meetings. Never mind. Let's go find our Christmas event and we'll edit that. Celebrate Christmas. I would like to edit this. And let's see if we can add, let's just do this one for now. Can we add, we can put a picture. So maybe if you make your flyer a photo, maybe that's how you get your flyer in there. I don't see an opportunity. I don't ever remember seeing where you could add an attachment. So I think the choice would be to make your flyer a photo and put it right in here. That would be your opportunity to do that.
Thank you.
All right. Other questions?
Bobby Blackman is saying that he says you can attach in a flyer, however, it may not show the entire picture.
Yeah, that's what, because the picture size is limited. So that's what I said,
right.
You can probably attach it in there. So maybe you just want to make sure you get the important part of the flyer into that photo. It was very limited to 1200 by whatever, 12.7 or something like that. So it is very limited for the size.
Or you could add a hyperlink to your flyer.
Ah, there you go.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone, for the.
Everybody helped.
Yes, I love it.
I've never tried putting a flyer, so everybody learns. That's a good thing. That's what we're here for, right?
Yes, very good. Thank you.
Other questions?
As for Denise, your question, I mean, if you're asking about like where you got the hyperlink, you can add it to the meeting description itself. You can just maybe at the bottom do like insert hyperlink here, click on it, and then there's the file.
Yeah, especially like, say, for instance, if you're doing a special meeting and you have a flyer for your special meeting, when you go in and you edit your description for that special meeting, just put the link right in there to your flyer. And then they can get to your flyer from there.
Or you could post it on Toast as a special page and just keep linking back to that Toast page in your page.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Then you wouldn't have to keep changing it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. There's always ways to work around it, especially with hyperlinks. You can get just about anything anywhere that you want. Okay. Any other questions?
I don't see any right now. If anyone has any other questions?
How do you handle when an officer changes? Like your PR person is no longer your PR person. Do we contact you? What's the process?
Well, since I am the Meetup coordinator and I'm the one that is trying to go in and get everybody set up so every club has at least one event organizer, then yes, I would be the person to contact. What I was going to do is, as soon as the holidays are over, reach out to the district to get an updated officer list, because we do have those clubs that do semi-annual, a certain amount of clubs that absolutely probably changed officers, and I'll want to run through the list again. But I know, like I said, I still probably have at least 25% of the clubs that haven't responded back to emails and let me know that, well, first off, acknowledge that the email's been received, and then I go out once a week and look to see if I see anybody new join that I'm looking for on my list so that I can get them assigned as event organizers. And also, I mean, if a VPPR isn't very tech savvy, club president can do it. Just as long as somebody from the club is represented, somebody, I don't think the district would mind if I assigned a club president as the event coordinator, just so that.
It's definitely a bonus to have the meetup. It's just, again, we're just trying to make sure the communication flows both directions.
So every club can post on their division's meetup page, correct?
Yep. Yeah, there's no limit to how many events you can put on the calendar. So if you, an ideal calendar for the division would be full with every club meeting's information on that meetup calendar, so that anybody that's going and that happens across the meetup, when they're doing a basic search, they're going to see all these options, different days of the week, different times, and it's actually better for them because they're going to be able to find something that fits into their schedule. So
then the ideal situation would be, and everyone who's on this call, please share this information with your clubs, especially if we have any area directors on the call. Please share them with your clubs, all of your clubs. Ideally, every single club should have their club information on their district's, or rather their division's meetup page. It doesn't cost anyone anything. The district pays for it, but we will make sure that it's available to you, and take advantage of it. I really want to stress how important that is. Everybody is in need of membership. Every single club, no matter whether you have 60 members or 6 members, we all need new members. And it's just an ongoing thing we have to continue to work at. And with Meetup being this easy and at no charge to us, why are we not all doing it? So, and if you have reservations about it, I know, Nate, you have some reservations and other people might too, but maybe we can work around that.
Yeah, so it doesn't work real well for corporate clubs. I'll be the first to admit that. Because most corporate clubs are closed, so putting something out on Meetup's not going to help corporate clubs. But something else to keep in mind, since Paula jogged my memory, is when the district does realignment, it's also important to check that the meetup calendars get updated as well, because a club that was in Division E last year might have gotten realigned to Division D, and so now their meeting schedule is on the wrong calendar. So it's important that we keep an eye on that stuff too. As a matter of fact, that's probably the onus on that would probably fall more to the district to notify club have shifted, or the meetup coordinator, so that the meetup coordinator could reach out to clubs and say, hey, because of realignment, your club's now Division D, could you, do you want to move your meeting information to Division D meetup instead of Division E or C or wherever it was that you used to be? Yeah. So we've got to get a better process for doing that, because that's something that I came across this year as I'm trying to go through all 9 divisions and see that we're, trying to get everybody so that every club's got one event organizer. And people are like, well, I know my meetings are on the calendar, and they're looking in a different division than they're now in. So yeah, right. I stumbled across quite a few times. So
yeah, there's a question.
I don't think you have to worry too much.
There is a question about the corporate clubs. So I know you mentioned corporate clubs, but Stephanie Scott is asking, what are your thoughts on corporate clubs on Meetup? Is there a different way to go about that? Because a lot of them are not meeting right now because of COVID.
Right. Yeah, that's a tough thing right now, because not all corporate clubs are closed. Some corporate clubs are open, and if the corporate clubs are open, then Meetup is an option. But if the corporate club is closed, then I don't really know what would be a good tool to use for closed, other than, I belong to a closed club, and we just use our intranet to get the word out about our club. So we post our meeting times, our meeting dates, and we do that internally, but that's about all we can do because we are closed.
Mm-hmm.
What I've done in the past is I've just put the link to the club, the Toast link to our direct club on the Meetup, just for more information. So in case someone was inquiring, at least they had a place to start.
Yes, I believe.
So I have used it that way, and I've announced area events and contests as well.
Yeah, I believe I have most of the ones in Division B set up that way, where in the information over in here, the link to their free Toast is over in here, so that you can get to their free Toast website from the Meetup page as well.
And I just did that again as a pointing back to.
Yep.
And again, that was the extent that I used it in the past, the Meetup. Yep. But I mean, it is helpful, as you said, and definitely having a go-to person has been very helpful, because that didn't always exist when we first started using Meetup in the division.
That was my head. I think, who was it in the chat? I think Felicia. All right. How do we add a category to our event? How do we do that on Meetup?
A category. I don't know that there's a way to do a category. Let's see. Let's just try to go in here and let's edit this event again and see if there's any options for us. Edit this event.
I think it looks to me, Becky, like that's a SharePoint site. So I think you can do multiple events on a single day. That's the.
Oh, you can. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the Division B calendar, we've got like 3 or 4 club meetings all, on a single day. So yeah, you can do multiple events on any given day.
I think you could do like one event would be one category would be an executive meeting, another category would be a contest, another category might be an actual meeting or something like that, all on the same day.
That might be just where you're how you title it. Is it your club meeting? Is it an area contest? Is it a special meeting? That would probably be the best way to, if you want to categorize something, would be in the title, how you have it titled. That would be my recommendation.
Hi, Becky, this is Felicia.
Yes?
When you go to the Meetup site, if I was a new person, never having been on Meetup, when you first join the page, there's a list of categories, such as book club, or I think it was outdoors, or sports and fitness. Is there a way to get ours to trigger from one of those categories? Or is there a suggested category that we should promote it under?
I don't know, but I am going to write that down, and I'm going to go take a peek and see if I can't figure it out. Because the more information that we can give to our clubs to make it, if somebody pops in a search, we want, it's just like with Facebook. We want to keep our Facebook pages live, so when people search, it's there. So we want to do the same thing with
I believe it's under your settings profile at your upper levels, Becky. So as you hunt and peck that later, I believe you can set the categories that way, if I recall correctly, as the site administrator.
Like I said, I'll have to go. I don't know, because that question's never been asked. So I am going to go investigate.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Any other questions?
It's important that people sign off the site as well, because I've had it stay open and I've accidentally changed things and forgetting to sign off the page. So that's just a side tip point.
Yeah.
Just a quick comment. If you look at District 48, which is next to us, they have a very good meetup, just like Becky is helping us to form here. And it's really a valuable tool. It really is, because anybody, anywhere can decide they're coming to Florida. They can go to Meetup. They can real quickly find, I'm going to visit, that particular club while I'm right here. So this is an important tool that's going to be very beneficial. Thank you. Thank you, Becky, for all the work.
And Becky, on the flip side, on our Toast sites, the people that administer that, there's a way to add the Meetup link directly to the division, whatever current division we're in for each club. So that might be something you make sure that people are updating at the local level to make sure we're linking to the correct divisions we're in.
Yep. Anything else? Not then, Paula, you have the last 15 minutes.
All right. Well, Thank you so much, Becky. This is a world of information, very, very helpful for all of us. And thank you for all of your work on this. We really appreciate it.